Hello YouTube, my name is Paul. Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to a pickup video, stroke channel update video. The only reason I want to kind of do a bit of an update is just to show you or describe to you where I am with my current collection. What I'm doing, what my aims are over the next coming sort of 12 months really. So some of you may know I've been selling some bits and bobs off. A lot of you may not know that, but when I walk into this room, all I see is I have a lot of stuff on shelves, and half the time I can't get access to said stuff on shelves. But what I would like really, in my heart of hearts, is to have what you can see now really. Get all the crap off the floor. You won't see any of the stuff behind me, the systems and that, and they'll all be gone. So what you'll see is the shelving units, and on this side it will be like some setups and some desks. So I can have my retro PC on, my AMIGAs, my STs, the little Kallax units there for the consoles. I mean, just have an area that I can actually sit down and use, rather than this absolute shithole. Every time I walk in here, I just want to walk back out. So the first part of the collection that is going, a lot of this stuff's going already, is that the PlayStation 3 Collector's Editions. Now I had pretty much all of them, all the UK releases. The problem with them, as you know, they take up a hell of a lot of space. I would need probably a room of this size to probably display all the figurines and all the steelbooks and stuff like that, and still put the boxes that they were in on the shelf. So it's, do you know what I mean? It does take up a lot of space. So a lot of this stuff that I'm selling basically is just sitting around gathering dust. So I'm quite fortunate to have a lot of PS3 Collector's Editions that are still sealed. Not that I bought brand new. None of my PS3 collections, apart from the ones that are in that cabinet behind me, were bought by me. Whereas the ones in the cabinet that I'm keeping, the majority of those were bought by myself or given to me as sort of Christmas present or something. So they stay where they are. But the problem with PS3 Collector's Editions, I found it great fun collecting them, but letting them go and trying to package them all up is a pain in the bloody arse. So think of that when you start collecting them. They're a nightmare. But yeah, I probably sold most of the larger ones, but I've still got quite a few left to get rid of, to be fair. Another focus again is moving away from sort of Sega CD based items, Sega Saturn, Mega CD. Whereas the Mega Drive is where my nostalgia sits, in that kind of area really. But even the Mega Drive collection again will be trimmed down dramatically to have those nostalgic games, because for me, I collect because I'm highly nostalgic about this stuff. The vast number of games that you remember when you play them now are not that great to play, are they? But it's that nostalgia, it's the music, it's the artwork, it's all the stuff, all the reasons why I collect, to be completely honest. And I do like some of the curiosities as well, some of the different kind of, I don't know, like for the Amstrad, for example, the wallet case sleeves. I mean, very strange 3-inch discs and some really nice artwork on some rather large sleeves, as opposed to what I had back in the day, which was just a double cassette. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at games, I mean, most of the really good games reside on the Mega Drive or the SNES, don't they? But the Amiga has its fair chunk. But yeah, it's more about nostalgia, more about games that I used to love and play when I was younger. Not about reliving it. It's almost like coming in and going, soaking it up. You soak up that nice nostalgia. Brings back some memories of happier times, doesn't it? Not that the things aren't happy now, but do you know what I mean? More happier, innocent, carefree times with good school friends. But yeah, so that's the plan. So I'm going to thin the collection out. That'll probably take me another 8 months. At this rate, it might take a little bit longer. But yeah, the idea is to have the machines there, all set up, ready to go. And the stuff I love, pretty much what you see now, really. PC, big box games, which most of them are of mine that I bought. Even Lula, I even bought that. That was hilarious. A bit embarrassing. I thought, oh, what's that? Yeah, I think I'll buy that. Yeah, Collector's Edition, Spectrum I managed to put in the corner. I've got a corner unit back in the corner like I had it before. And that's some of the Spectrum collections just rammed in there. But I've got a load more to put away. ST, I think you got on the large section behind, ST and CD32. And then Amiga, Amstrad. Amstrad in the corner there, really. And a bit of Amiga. But yeah, so that's basically where my nostalgia lies. I've got some PlayStation 1 games still there as well, and the Mega Drive stuff in the corner. But generally, that is kind of what I want to have. So it's moving away from this, just buy everything, because it's nice to chase after these games and chase after these sets. There is a certain addiction to trying to complete a full set of whatever you're doing, or a subset. I think subsets are just easier to kind of chew, isn't it? Easier little snippets to bite off of a full collection, really, than it is to try and go for a full collection. But yeah. So in terms of collecting wise and pickups, yeah, I've still got the Hit Squad, I've still got the Amstrad Ocean games. Amiga wise, I'm literally now down to, my list has got about 6 games and 3 loads of French compilations for the Ocean collection. But yeah, it's trying to make sure the Amiga collection stays. I mean, Amiga collection can go on forever, can't it? You've got so many bloody different variables on the Amiga, but it's trying to keep it to games that I like and have nostalgia for, and some of those rarities and oddities. ST, again, like I said, I've picked up a couple of games this month, but generally I only pick up games that didn't get released on the Amiga. I want the Amiga version, but I might have to wait a bit longer because they're quite scarce. Spectrum will just keep going. Spectrum is a Spectrum, isn't it? It's just like an infinite rabbit hole that don't end. But I'll pick up games for that, because there's loads of little subsets I'm after. And besides that, there's not really a lot else. Commodore wise, still GS cartridges as they come up, but I don't have many of those left to get. And the Thalamus games, again, still got to finish those, and some System 3 titles. But besides that, I'm going to pick up a few Japanese Mega Drive games, because my old mate Sam had those. But yeah, so hopefully over the period of the next few months, we'll get this room cleared out and actually get to a point where I can use it. I can actually finally get around and do a room tour, which is something I've never done, because it's not possible. It's not been possible to do it. Right, so hopefully that's a bit of an update. Again, that's my own rationale behind things. My nostalgia and my love for micros will always be there. It doesn't matter if I sold all this off tomorrow, I'd go back and guess what? I'd go and buy Renegade again. I'd go and buy Grise, or I'd go and buy more Ocean games. So that's the stuff I'll keep. Whereas some of the other stuff I'm selling, it don't matter, it's gone. I don't really care. Cool. So, pickups, where should we start? We'll start from where I started, back in 1982, and that's with the Atari. I tend to do that when I do the videos. They're in chronological order. Usually systems that I owned back in the day, and that's kind of what I pick up predominantly. So first up, we have a game that I didn't realise got an Atari release. But I remember playing this on the old Nimbus, RM Nimbuses back in school. And even I think this was on a Nokia 3310 or something like that. And that's Worm, or Tapeworm, in the case of the Atari. Not a bad little game. It throws you a bit, because some of the later levels you end up playing it in the dark. So you've got to remember where the little, whatever it is you've got to pick up, little square, and try and get it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't realise this even existed. One you don't see very often. Again, I don't think it cost me much more than 10 quid. Now, Silver Cart. I do love this shiny stuff, got to be honest with you. But yeah, it is literally Worm. You've played Worm. Most of you must have played Worm. They're a very similar age to myself. You just go around really picking up little pellets. The worm grows longer. The longer it grows, the more you've got to try and avoid it. You can't touch yourself, if that makes any sense. Otherwise you die. But in this one it's a bit different, because you've got meanies as well going across the screen trying to kill you. And to complete each level you need to go down to the bottom and have a piece of fruit to move on. But yeah, the level I got to, like I said, after about 3 or 4 seconds it goes pitch black, and you've got to remember where you left your pellet. Or where it was, where it spawned, that's the one. But yeah, it's a cracking little game. I like it. I like it, again, like I said, nostalgia. But Atari wise, there's literally on my list about 4 games to get. I did flog a few off recently, only because the games I picked up in bundles, thought I'd keep them, then realised that I don't want games like Bridge, basic programming and stuff like that, which have got no use to me whatsoever. So they're gone. But in terms of pickups for the Atari, I think I've got 2 Tiger Vision games. Mine are 2049 are 2. And King Kong, something like that. I've got 1 Telesys game, which is Coconut. It's called Coconuts, I think. I think that's it. That's the Atari done. I will be doing an Atari collection video imminently. Within hopefully the next couple of weeks I'll start putting that together. I've been promising these collection videos for bloody ages. But yeah, I can actually now get access to the containers that contain the games, really. I got a visitor from an animal, just walked in the room. Hello. What can I do for you? Goodbye then. Yeah, so next up, Spectrum. Now, Spectrum I would have picked up back in 1986, the back end for Christmas, I think it was. These games I never owned. None of these games are nostalgic, but they're all part of little sets that I'm picking up along the way, just to keep things fresh in the collection, really. But again, Spectrum games, I always love picking up Spectrum games. So first up, we got a budget game. Actually, this wasn't a budget game. It's part of the budget label. Now, this budget label, Alternative Software, had multiple different offshoots. Game, I think they're names like Admiral, Winner, Summit, Screen 7, Again and Again. I think that's most of them. But yeah, it was a really strange setup there. So many different labels, all from the same company. The first one I got is Fallen Angel, which kind of reminded me a little bit of, say, Renegade, but nothing like Renegade in how it plays. Large sprites, so the graphics are very good. It moves a bit jumpy, and the gameplay itself isn't particularly great. This came up for, I think it was 10 quid. These Screen 7 games you don't often find. I know there's games like Jaws was released under the Screen 7 label. I think there's one more on the Spectrum. I forgot what it's called. It's not many. It comes with its instruction manual. Ah, that's the other one. Stiger? Jaws High Steel, that's it. Quite hard to get, so obviously there's more than 3 games then. So yeah, quite hard to find them, to be honest. Now, if you're into alternative collecting, yeah, it's a huge subset to go for. Probably, I would say, more difficult than the Hit Squad, because some of the games are bloody obscure. And it's a larger set to go for as well. So yeah, if you're into that sort of thing. I know Sean at Retro Games Revive, he does the alternative collection on his C64. Which again, the C64, I think, it's got more games on it. That's Fallen Angel. Next up, we got a game called Piebald. Now, I've never really been into these Automata titles. Not a subset I'm going for, because it's bloody hard. There's a lot of very early Automata games that had no artwork, like this, for example. This came in a large pickup I got from an auction house in Penzance. So that was in it. Again, nothing fancy to look at. I couldn't get this to work, actually. I selected the joystick, pushed the fire button and every single key on the keyboard, and I couldn't get it to start. But there's quite a few games featuring that character, that little pink dude. His R sticking out there. But yeah, again, I'm not really familiar. I mean, what are they like? Bikers? A game called Bikers, a game called Darts. There's a few. I think it was Mel Croucher's software house, and he did, what was the game he done that's really famous? Deus Ex? No, Deus something or another. I can't remember what it's bloody called, but it's a big box. There's a few actors talking on it as you played the game. What the hell was that game called? I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, I still need that game. I still would like to pick that up, but it's trying to find it in nice condition for a decent price. It can go for about 50 quid. But yeah, that was quite nice to have that. I've got about 6 or 7 games from that publisher, but I won't be going for a subset of that because there are some absolute nightmare titles to find. You go onto retrogames.co.uk, it's got a few, and it's quite expensive anyway, but bloody hell, they're expensive. Right, last but not least, again from this auction house down in Penzance, I picked this up. Unfortunately, it's not complete, but I've been after it for a while because it looks bloody awesome. That's Rex. Again, this will set you back 30-40 quid. Sometimes it goes for a bit more on the Spectrum, but it's a really good, I won't call it a run and gun because it's not. Can't explain what kind of genre it is, but shame it hasn't got the instructions in it. Well, at least this will be a bit of fodder in case I do find a complete version of it. Unless, of course, anyone's got a spare set of instructions kicking around. It's one of those games you go through caverns, pick up certain objects, shoot things. Reminded me a little bit of something like Cybernoid. I don't know why. Maybe it might be the weapon choices. I don't know. The graphical art. I don't know what it is, but it did remind me a bit of Cybernoid. Very good game to play, though. Out of the 3 specky games I picked up, actually, Rex is probably by far the best game I've played. So yeah, now I do pick up for the Commodore, like I said. I don't have any pickups. I missed out on a game called Retrograde. It went for about 52 quid on the Thalamus label. So I need Retrograde and Heat Seeker. There are two compilations I don't care about. I'm after a game called Summer Camp. I think those three might be the last standalone games I need. But what I do collect, what I love picking up, are these games that have names that will no way on earth exist today. They just won't do it. But there's a little subset I like, and it's to do with drunk people that have drink problems. This game is called Beer Belly Burt's Brew Biz. I couldn't get far in this game, but I do have a little collection now of it's called the Pisshead Collection. And I do enjoy collecting them. There's a game that I saw recently called Mr. Wino. It's on the Silverbird label, Firebird label. I need to pick it up. But I've got games like Alkioli and a few other dodgy title games like that. But yeah, it's nothing to shout about. I think the game was originally released in America, brought across, I think, maybe by US Gold, and then transferred across to the Americana series. Not a subset I'm going for. I see Sean's already struggling to go for Americana games on the 64. Not really my thing, really, to be fair. Like I said, C64, keep it simple. Hit Squad. Been building up my kicks collection slowly but surely. But again, if the prices are right, Thalamus, System 3, and Commodore 64 GS cartridges. That's going to be the extent of my C64 collection for now. Oh, hello, another visitor. Don't bark at me, please. Good girl. Got the barky dog. She barks every time I speak to myself, so she's going to bark. Next up, we've got a GS cartridge. Now, I've seen the one I've already got, which has got Stunt Car Racer on it. I've seen one that has all 6 games on it, but I've never seen this one. Featuring 3 exciting games: Pro Tennis, Fast Food, Pro Skateboard. Grim Games, I believe, all from Codemasters. Again, this came up. It's quite a reasonable price. I'm not sure if it was about 30 quid. Buy it now. I snapped it up because it's the one I don't have. So what it leaves me with now for the GS is just the dynamic titles, which are probably amongst the hardest titles to find. So I finished off me, I think these are by Micro Pros. Might be wrong. Ocean, these, Domark are now finished. It's just those dynamic titles. I'd love to see some pictures of those dynamic titles, I've got to say. I've only ever seen After the War on eBay for a tenner on cartridge. As you can imagine, it got snapped up in a heartbeat because £10 for a game that probably fetch a hell of a lot more than that. It's not bad, is it? But yeah, the C64, in terms of my history with the C64, a good friend of mine, I should say neighbour actually, he had a C64. And I used to love going around his house before I got my Spectrum and play the C64. Alright, what else we got? What else we got? So next up, after the Spectrum, I went and got an ST. ST games. I don't get many anymore. I picked up 3 titles. I've got another Amiga game I've got to show, but I can't think of where I put it. Crap. I'm sure it'll come to me in a minute. Right, first up, Rolling Thunder. A game I still need on my Sinclair Spectrum. I'm sure I've had this before. Maybe on the Amiga. And sold it. For whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe it was incomplete. But yeah, Rolling Thunder. Again, a game I never played back in the day. Always remember the adverts for it though. But I did love Rolling Thunder 2 on a Mega Drive. Thought it was fantastic. Now, it was me thinking I had no instructions with it, but the instructions are actually on the back, on the inlay. But yeah, this I think completes my mini subset of Atari ST plastic US Gold clam cases with games like Solomon's Key, Roadrunner, Gauntlet. I think there may be one more. But I do like these. I've got 1 or 2 on the Amstrad, 720 Degrees and Outrun. Outrun on the ST came in a long box. So yeah, it's an okay game, quite juddery, jumpy. Nostalgia probably stems mostly from magazine reviews for Sinclair Spectrum, to be honest. But as I had all the US Gold clam cases like that, I thought, do you know what? I'll pick up that along with another game, which I'll show you in a minute. So yeah, it's Rolling Thunder, average, poor to average game on the home computers. But I've heard the specky version is probably better. Next up is a game called The Deep. Been off this on the Amiga for a while. Very hard to find. Don't come up very often. I believe it's an arcade conversion. One of those games you've got a boat at the top of the screen, drop depth charges to kill submarines and other such things deep under the sea. Again, a very lackluster game. But again, I do like... I don't know what I like about that, I've got to be honest. Like, I think it came up for about... I think I won it for about 16 quid. And yet people do ask about... people do ask silly money for that. I do want it on the Amiga though. But there's no rationale as to why. Sometimes this is me all over really. Most of the time it is nostalgic. This is not nostalgic. It's not even a great game. It's probably what you would call an impulse buy. Will it stay in the collection? I don't know. Who knows? But again, it's a US Gold game. Quality all round. Speaking of quality, the next one I've been after on the Amiga. Again, it does come up very seldomly. The asking prices are sometimes a little bit too high. And this one is Sidearms, another clam case US Gold title under the Go livery. Now I didn't know about you guys, but this game was part of a trilogy of games that included Forgotten Worlds. I read that somewhere, but I can't think of what the third game was. I think the third game was a later release game. But I guess Sidearms came out before. Still in its bubble wrap. Sidearms came out before all of them. I think it's the first game. Again, instructions on the inlay. It's not a bad game. I quite like it. A bit of a slow-paced shooter. But there are quite a lot of similarities in looks with Forgotten Worlds. It's just your player doesn't spin around like a loon. But again, Forgotten Worlds I played on the Mega Drive and I loved it. The Mega Drive version, absolutely brilliant. I think I do need to pick that up on a Japanese Mega Drive. But yeah, some not bad little games. Again, they're mostly impulsive. I do want Sidearms on the Amiga. Rolling Thunder, again, I do want on the Amiga. And basically, I want these games on the Amiga, but I've got them on the ST. That's why I bought them. Yeah, that's why I bought them. Sorry about that. The dogs wanted me to let them outside, so that's where I've been. Not only that, but I've had to grab a game off the shelf that I forgot to pick up and put it in my stack to show you. So 3 Amiga titles then, 3 games that, well, I would say one of them I've been after for a long time. I have seen it before, but I haven't seen it for a long time. You can probably see in a minute why it's quite a rare game. Another one which is, again, I would like it on the Spectrum. I've been after it on the Amiga for a while. It's a good run and gun game, to a degree. And another one by a company that's quite synonymous with dodgy rip-offs based in Germany. They brought out games like, I don't know, Catechis. They brought out Great Giana Sisters, all games that were removed from sale because they were infringing someone's copyright. Not sure if this one is exactly the case, but it's certainly a rip-off of a game that we would be familiar with. But yeah, so we'll start off with the one game I wanted on the Spectrum. The case is a little bit dodgy, unfortunately, but it is a nice game. It's a nice, in terms of graphics, it's got gorgeous graphics, especially on the Spectrum. They're very colourful and very large sprites. That's Savage. Now, again, you don't see this very often on the Amiga. It's not a bad little game. It's quite frantic. But yeah, any Firebird game of this type is quite hard to find. This sort of style case came out with games like Flying Shark, didn't it? I got one other, Virus, I think it is. I know there's probably about half a dozen games like this, but again, they're not the best games. They're savage and bad. The music's horrendous. Haha, savage! Yes, it makes you laugh. One of those very heavily sampled musical scores, really. It's quite funny to listen to, but it's the sort of thing your old man would have screamed at you for back in the day if you played it too loud. It's just a bloody racket. But yeah, you only get the instruction booklet and a couple of discs in there. I played it for, I think, my first attempt. It's the footage you'll see. I got to stage 2. But I got a feeling I didn't turn off. I could have done that. Yeah, because I played it on emulator to get the footage, I might not have turned off the invincibility. So I had millions of lives. But yeah, good game. It's good. It's not bad at all, got to say. Really pleased to have it, because I've been after that one for a little while. What's the next one? Got some dodgy people at Time Warp. Now Time Warp, I'm not sure if their games were all released by Rainbow Arts or not. But Time Warp are quite famous for the Great Giana Sisters. They, I'm pretty sure, developed that. Well, they didn't develop Catechist, that was Factor 5, but I believe those were both released by Rainbow Arts. But this one here is by Time Warp, but I don't think it was released by Rainbow Arts. And that game is Thunder Boy. I know, complete rip-off. Well, it's not exactly the same as Wonder Boy, but it's bloody close. It's got, the best part of this game is when you die. At the end of the video clip, you listen to him die. It's quite dramatic. But I do like it. It's cool. An odd one. This one came up in a bundle of games. I think I bought it for like 90 quid. It's quite a while ago now. There was this and 3 other games that I think one I swapped out and the other 2 I sold. But I mean, I got most of my money back anyway. It's a very obscure title. Did not get a UK release. Can't imagine why. Yeah, really pleased to have that. That was literally, it came up. I've seen this before, a long time ago. But when it came up, I was like, oh, I've got to have that. But it is a grim game, but the death sequence, it's not even a sequence, is it? When you die, it's brilliant. Best part of the game. Made me laugh. It made me laugh. Now, the final game, again, is a Capcom title. The last of the long box Capcom titles. I think there's only, I always forget, I think there's 3. On the ST there's 4. But the one I've never seen before on a Capcom title is a long box version of Street Fighter. Now I'm not sure that came out. Could be a good reason why. I know it came out on the dual case on the Amiga. 1943. Finally got it. Now this wasn't cheap. Tell you no lies. But the reason why it may not be that common, it came out on the Kicks label. But side of the box there, they literally just a bit of an afterthought, isn't it? ST. Slapped on an Amiga sticker on an ST box. So yeah, I think this was a bit of an afterthought. Maybe this was released in literally tiny amounts into the shops. But again, I do have the ST version, which I no longer need now. That'll be going up on eBay. But yeah, I'm really pleased to have it. This wasn't cheap at all, I've got to say. It was about 150 quid, 160 quid, something like that. It wasn't cheap. But I've been looking for this game for a long time. It literally came up. I snapped it up. But it's the last of the long box Capcom games I know. Got released on the Amiga. But again, Street Fighter, if anyone knows any different, please let me know or leave me a link or something like that. But Hall of Light's got no information about Street Fighter. I've never seen any images online. So, but the Street Fighter long box like that looks great, especially on the ST. I got it on the ST. It does look great. Right. I don't think there's much else really. I've got an item to show you that I picked up. Now, when you buy the long box Psygnosis box compilation, I can't remember what it's called. I don't know if it's called Mega Hits, but it's a long box like Shadow of the Beast. In it there was an advert to order a t-shirt. Now it's the only long box game I think that didn't come with a t-shirt, whereas the other 4 did. Yeah, 4 did. Now you could order a t-shirt for the Killing Game Show. I might just a plain old Psygnosis t-shirt, or you could order Orbitus, Awesome, and I think maybe the Shadow of the Beast one. So this came up on eBay and I picked it up. Just something to go in the box really. That's a Psygnosis t-shirt. This is an original release of it. The actual tag literally is faded away somewhat, but yeah, it's quite nice to pick that up. This weren't that expensive. I remember someone on Facebook selling a load of t-shirts, but I missed out on them. I think he sold the t-shirts of practically all of the Psygnosis games, so I'd love to have had that. Someone's washed this one. It smells quite fragrant, but some of the times you get them they sound like must. Yeah, so it's nice to have that. It's a bit of a strange one to pick up. I've got a few t-shirts now by different publishers. Not something I would wear, but certainly something that's nice to have. I think I'm missing the Killing Game Show t-shirt, which there is one on eBay, but it looks like it's well worn. I'm trying to think what else I'm missing. Obitus. I've got a boxed Awesome and Shadow of the Beast t-shirts in the boxes. I'm missing Obitus, Beast 2 and the Killing Game Show. I think they're the 3 I don't have. Now sticking with Microcosm, this I've had for ages now, but I would love to have it on the CD32. Got a release on the CD32. It's listed incomplete for about 800 quid. in Germany. But I picked this one up here because this is a PC version. Now I'd love to have this. Even if it was incomplete, I can use the contents from this and put it into the, say if it's just a CD32 box. That's Microcosm. But yeah, CD30 as a CD32 item, it's probably one of the hardest CD32 items to pick up. And I believe it might have only been released in Germany. I've only ever seen it there. I saw a buy it now sell for about 150 quid. You can imagine that got snapped up in no time. But I've never seen it at auction. It comes with a t-shirt. A t-shirt I've taken out as it started to warp the box a bit. It literally is rolled up and sits on the bottom of the box. You get the instruction manual. You obviously get the game inside there. And I think you get some music as well. But it's kind of like a very early limited edition. Didn't get many of those back in the day, did we? But I really did. I really do want to get that on the CD32. So yeah, again, I think that cost me 50 quid, I want to say. The t-shirt wasn't expensive. I've got a feeling that was about 20 quid. Yeah, and then to finish off, which I'm trying to do a bit more of at the moment with the pickup videos, just show you a few magazines. Like I said, because things are slowing down this year, I won't have a loads to show you unless I dig out stuff that I know I've not shown you. Then I'll obviously show you. But I think I spoke about this before with regards to the One magazine. It used to be a multi-format magazine and kind of went into this weird transition period for about a year, which I've got a couple more now. Then went its own separate way. I think what it done, it was multi-format, split off ST Amiga, and then was just rebranded because I think it just went out on the Amiga. Don't know why I just didn't stick with the original cover, but and that game, that magazine is the One. This is issue 33, June 1991, complete with disc. Again, but I always miss these because the actual front there looks completely different to the original The One, which ended up looking very similar to the ones he released later on. Really, the Kid never got released in the UK, but got released via mail order. Not mail order, catalogues. Catalogues in Italy and Germany. And then the next one is issue 41, February 92, not long before it changed for the last, no, it wasn't the last time. The last time it changed to Maverick, didn't it? Yeah, so I've got 2 more of these left to get to complete my in-betweener Amiga The One set. Yeah, it's one magazine though, to get a full set is nigh on impossible. I missed out on my chance, didn't I? And I missed that bundle, didn't buy it. Literally had all the last Maverick releases of The One magazine, which ended up I think in 1997 or 96, 97. Yeah, and since then I think the guy listed them all, and most of them, on eBay for £30 each, which is a bit steep really. But yeah, that's it for pickups. So like I said, there won't be many. The list is dwindling. Loads of little subsets on the Spectrum still to go for. The Hit Squad video, I would love to put one up, but again, no Hit Squads this year. I'm sure I've got a new wallet game to show in an Ocean video, along with another load of Ocean titles I've picked up for obscure systems, but the games themselves aren't obscure. Games like the BBC, the Electron, Dragon 32. I know, what the hell was that? Yeah, there's a few holes still in the Hit Squad collection, but once I've kind of completed a set at some point, I will do a video. So I'm dying to do another one. It's got to have been months now since I've done one of those. And the last game I picked up was the back end of last year. But yeah, so I'm going to crack on with the Atari collection video. I'm trying to redo my 11 unreleased Amiga games video again, so I've got a few more games I've found. I've got more information on the games that I talked about, so I'd like to just kind of update that really. I've got my Amiga Power video that's nearly done. I've got other videos I want to do, but at the minute it's like, yeah, everything's kind of busy at the minute, especially trying to sort this epoxy room out for a start. But I will get back on the case, I promise. Even buying homebrew games. Yeah, which actually, I'm quite impressed with quite a few of them. Yeah, I think there's an Amiga one due out. I think there's a game called Invia 2. I did pick that up for the Amiga, it's very good. But anyway, I'll shut up now and carry on. But you carry on with what you're doing. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Take care of yourselves and bye for now.